Hi there, welcome into Beyond the Blast Doors. I'm David Amilati, one of the hosts of our weekly podcasts, and you might have noticed we haven't been around about the last month. We've been on a hiatus. We had a computer catch on fire, we had professional obligations, we had health issues, so everyone's healthy again, everyone has job figured out, and we have an operating computer again. So we're back at it, new episode coming this coming weekend, so we're really excited about that, episode 21, lots of great things happening there. But in the meantime, I thought I would do a couple comic book hauls because I'm severely behind. Because our computer went down, I have 3 trips to the comic book store. I got a couple auction grabs that I got which actually ended up turning into acts of kindness because there are some really cool people in the comic book community. So what this is today is I went down to St. Louis a couple of days ago for a sale that my LCS was having in St. Louis, and it was like back issues were major discounts, and so I was like, maybe I'll come away with a couple of steals. I left with like a pile of 30 books. So these are all Star Wars books that we're going to show off today, predominantly from 2015 on. A lot of Star Wars, a lot of Darth Maul, a lot of Darth Vader. So it should be a good time. After I get through this pile, and I'm saying this pile it's thick. It's this thick. Then I'm going to show off 2 other books that I was able to find recently. One was in the wild, which I'm really excited about to show you. It involves Ahsoka Tano. So if you like Ahsoka, stick around for the end of this video. You will be rewarded. And then I have another book that it's got some sentimental meaning to me, some sentimental value. But even if you don't have those feelings for this cover, you can still acknowledge it's a really cool cover. So I'm going to put those books there, leave those there, and we'll get started with the first book here. Like I said, most of these are variant covers. A lot of these are books and runs that I didn't necessarily follow as they were coming out. But a few times on Twitter and on the podcast, I've acknowledged, I would get them only for the variant cover just because the artwork looks fantastic. A good example would be like Phasma. Don't like that series, but I love the cover art of that run, especially when you look at the variant for issue number 1, for example, just off the top of my head. But let's get started with this one. Darth Maul, number 4. This is a Chip Zdarsky cover, and so if you didn't know, it's to celebrate 40 years of Star Wars. They did these kind of bordered covers for their books, and you're looking down here at the lower screen here, or the lower shot, I should say. I just love the cover. Not necessarily the trim, but it's a classic Han Solo in Jabba's face look. Really enjoy that one. And I got 3 more of these that I'm going to raffle off. This is a Julian Totino cover. This is Darth Maul number 5. And I'll have you take a look at this down here. Really nice shot there of an Obi-Wan Kenobi. And there's a couple Obi-Wan Kenobi covers in the mix, and I really enjoy them. And I need to double check. I'm pretty sure this is, I said Totino cover. So really nice artwork there. Again, that 40th anniversary trim. Keeping with that theme, Star Wars number 33, a David Lopez cover. And what a great iconic moment here. You have Luke training with his lightsaber, and then you have Obi-Wan there in the background. So a really nice David Lopez cover. And it's a cover that I've been looking for, I don't know, probably like within the last half a year or so. Lopez is, I think one of those mainstream artists that a lot of people tend to appreciate. This next one I'm really pumped to show you, and that is Star Wars number 36. And oh man, I'm pumped. So my favorite artist on Superman is Ed McGuinness, and I just think he does really great work. And I stumbled across this Star Wars number 36 variant, still 40th anniversary cover, and guess who did the artwork on that? Now take that in. That is a beautiful cover. I love that. That's Han. That's Chewie. Looks like they're running away. Maybe that. I think it's. I'm very confident. I'll say 100% sure. This is that part in A New Hope where they're running around, running through the corridors of the Death Star, and they're trying to flee from the troopers. And I just think this is a really nice cover. It's Ed McGuinness, so I had to pick it up. Just really, it's the first time where I've been looking for books ever since I kind of got involved with the comic book community here on YouTube. And I'm looking through the back orders, and I come across a book. I'm like, oh man, this is a steal. This is a find. This is something I didn't expect to find because these are super rare. And you look at these books online, you'll see them range anywhere from $5-6, but you've seen some people, depending on the artist, I mean, that's how it usually works, right? But some of these books will go for $15-20, so pretty cool. Won't flip these probably just because the 40th anniversary, and especially that Emigonus, I'm going to hold on to for sure. Now let's get into, these are, I would say, the normal runs. Still variant here, Darth Vader number 24. This is from the Gillen run, so the 2015 run, not the current 2017 run that we're on with Charles Soule and Giuseppe, but the action figure cover. This is pretty nice. I'll show you that here, and then I'll drop it down below, and I really love it. The cover is by John Tyler Christopher, and he's the one that does all these action figure covers, and I used to not be into them, but there was a Han Solo one that I found that I left that I should never have. This was going on about 4 or 5 months ago, but it's a Hoth Han. Here you have 000 on here, and this guy is a very popular character thanks to the new canon. He is the right-hand person for Dr. Aphra. He's an assassin droid, a killer droid, and fans really seem to love him. Well, that's his action figure cover. Again, the cover there by John Tyler Christopher, and you're going to see a couple more of his covers as we roll on through. The next one I've got is Han Solo number 5, very psychedelic. Very psychedelic, and I'm going to put it down here, and I'm just really enamored by it. Again, here's a series that I wasn't reading until I could pick up the trade, but I acknowledge that, you know, for the artwork on the covers at least, it was great. You open up the cover, I don't know what else you want to know. As far as it's average, I mean, from my standards, it doesn't really wow me, but the covers are spectacular. This is a 1 in 10 retailer incentive variant. Really exciting. As far as like the story is concerned, this is part of the Dragon Void race. I don't want to give too much away in case you're wanting to read these books, but it is pretty exciting if you go back. I think it's the cover art, going back and looking for these books, that has me reinvested into the story. I think Han Solo was one of the okay stories that they did in comic book form. I think one of the best ones, though, is Lando, and we'll have a couple of his covers coming up, but I still think a cool cover nonetheless, very psychedelic. This is Kanan, number 11. Got this guy for $1, and I probably should have explained that I got a lot of these covers. The deal was like, if it's $10 or less, it's $1. If it's 10.01 or more, it's 50%. It's 50%. So some really good deals here. I didn't ever once invest in the Kanan series until I saw this book. I love the way the clone troopers are drawn on this cover, and if you look really close, there's really no black line. There's no like line separating the helmet from the white background. It's just the red art, the red coloring that creates the shape, and the black that creates the shape of the clone troopers, and I think that is just really, really fascinating. Still the detail that's captured there, and I love the look of Kanan. Some of these covers, some of the art for the series in general, to me is kind of like watercoloring. It just wasn't really grabbing my eye, but this is a really stunning cover, and especially like the detail and the shine of the saber hilt there on his thigh. A really neat cover. I enjoy it. I still haven't finished that Kanan run. Basically what you're learning is his master, the relationship with he and his master, how he loses his master, and then how he kind of starts up on his own. So it's a younger Kanan than what we see in Star Wars Rebels, but it's this run that was actually trying to educate viewers on the origin of Kanan Jarrus. So if you do like Kanan on Star Wars Rebels, I'm going to encourage you to definitely go check that run out. Wasn't for me, but for a cover like this, don't judge a book by its cover. Well, you know what? I'll give this book 5-6 minutes of my time based on this cover. Next book I got is, I love it. This is a really cool one. Variant number 7 Star Wars. This one's going around for anywhere from $10 to $25 online if you were looking to sell, but it's the Obi-Wan variant, and I just love it because you have the rock, the dust flying in this image. You have, a mid-aged Obi-Wan Kenobi there in the desert. You see his hilt there dangling on his belt. Really cool. It's a 1 for $25 retail incentive variant. The cover is Tony Moore, and a great run. This was when the 2015 Star Wars run, which is still going today, this was a prime time in the run. 7 issues in, and you're starting to learn about this journal that Ben Kenobi has been keeping of stories and lessons from over his years, and just really fascinating and a great cover at that. Next, I've got Star Wars number 16, and I have a really hard time with comic books with Leia in the story, because I just don't feel that anyone can really capture what Carrie Fisher brought to the character on screen, and trying to get that character to translate to a comic book panel is really difficult. However, this is one of the few times where I've seen an image really capture Carrie Fisher's beauty, translate that into a comic book. It's pretty nice. Now, Lionel Francis Yu is the cover artist on this one. It's a 1 in 25 retailer incentive. Again, written by Jason Aaron. Great story. This is really an important book if you're trying to get everything from the Vader Down run that they did. And again, that's 2015. Vader Down was tremendous. That was a Vader that was after A New Hope. So this was kind of like at his, I would say, prime. I think it's fair to say that Rogue One, A New Hope era, that's his prime. No one's challenging Vader. Great run. The difference between the current 2017 Vader run is that's like a year one. So if you know what Batman year one is, right now we're on a Vader year one experience. This is a great throwback. Love Vader Down. Love this cover. What a great homage image to Carrie Fisher. Number 17, Star Wars number 17. We're rolling right along here. Another variant. Really nice. And I'm flashing them up here, up top, real quick, because I want you to look at it down here, just because I want you to have a better close-up. A 1 for 25 incentive cover. Again, it's Francis Yu with the cover art, and it's just really stunning. It's the trio, and it's that A New Hope jacket that Luke has there at the end of the movie. And it's not my favorite Luke look. I still think the coolest Luke has ever looked is when he's on Hoth in those tannish, the gray sports jacket, whatever you want to call that. That's his coolest look. But this is a close second, and I think it's a really great cover with these three characters on it. Now, it's not all variants, and I don't think I'm a variant hunter. I just think when I want to expand my collection of books, I want iconic images. And this was the first time where I went, and the majority of my books were variants. I've said this before, especially in my last haul video, is when I do these things, I'm usually just picking up books from the store that is the next issue of the run that I'm following. And so now trying to expand the collection, just looking for iconic images, nice looking covers. This is just the 1A cover for Star Wars 36, but I have seen a lot of people talking about it. It's just R2-D2 going down a hallway, and I just love it. Mike Mayhew on the cover. Jason Aaron still at this time writing the comic. This only came out a couple of months ago, and it's just a great cover. Now, the premise is the fact that 3PO has been captured by the Empire, and R2 kind of has its own journey here in this issue. But I just love that image, the angle, kind of the tilt up at R2-D2 going down the hallway, bodies on the floor. I mean, who doesn't love that image? Stormtroopers smoking there in the background. I mentioned Darth Vader. This is pretty cool. I'm really excited about this. I got two covers here from the 2017 run. So you just heard me a few moments ago talking about how much I love the 2017 run, that year one look at Vader. This is Darth Vader number 4. Really nice cover here. And the cover here is Raphael Albuquerque. I think I'm saying that name right. I've heard it pronounced a couple of different ways. If there is a better way that I can pronounce it, you can let me know down in the comments below. But nonetheless, look at this great cover. And 1 for 25 incentive cover. And this is Soul's baby. And just a really great job. We're in the middle of Vader going out and hunting down a Jedi, his first Jedi. Has to find a Jedi saber to complete his training and his turn to the dark side. This is an action-packed issue. And of course, you follow issue number 4 with issue number 5. Vader looking very intimidating. Hand open, maybe using the Force there, but more importantly has that lightsaber activated, and it's just awesome. Now this is a Terry Dodson cover, and all the art in these books is done by Giuseppe Camuncoli, or I'm sorry, Camuncoli. That's how you say that name. But Giuseppe is really talented, and the fact is that for most of the issues that have come out in this run already, he's done the variant, he's done the 1A and the variant covers. But Terry Dodson comes in and really knocks this one out of the park. But if you're looking for a Star Wars run that actually has very good story and a good blend of interior art design, this is the run for you. It's the best Star Wars story that's been told in comic books since Disney took over, and it's the best art to writing complement that you'll see out there. So I definitely recommend that. I can't say it enough. Did not follow Poe Dameron. I have the first two trades, and I think it's okay. I think it's because I don't know the character well enough, but I got Poe Dameron, number 1. This is annual 2016. This is the variant for that. And Muhammad Asrar is the cover artist on this guy. And it's basically just, it's launching the story of Poe Dameron and his role in the Resistance, his relationship with General Leia, and trying to figure out what his role is in the Resistance. And that's kind of the story that you follow up until now, as that is still an ongoing series. So this was the annual. I got number 7 right here, a really cool image here of Poe with BB-8. He's in a corridor, an alley, and stormtroopers running in the background. They're maybe looking for Poe, but Poe has his blaster out. Great art here. Another Terry Dodson cover. And in case you forgot, I mentioned Charles Soule earlier on the Darth Vader run here, the 2017 Darth Vader run. Charles Soule was the lead writer for Poe Dameron for the first, I want to say, like 20 issues. Really great stuff. Great storytelling, great writing. Just wasn't necessarily a fan of the artwork throughout. But hey, you know what? Not everybody has to like everything, right? So there's that one. We got number 9 here, Poe Dameron looking very majestic in front of his X-Wing. You have BB-8 again in the background. Man, this is awesome. Mike Hawthorne with this cover, 1 in 25 variant there. So like I said, it's not a thing where... It's not a thing where I followed these books, the storyline from the beginning. I've actually gone back and been attracted to the art and decided I wanted to pick them up. But iconic image of Poe Dameron. I mean, that's how I see Poe in the movie. And I'm really excited to see what he does in The Last Jedi. I really think that he is going to get an opportunity to helm the Resistance. I think that's what they're setting up. So we'll find out here in about a month. I mentioned Lando earlier, and I've got 2 Lando covers here. These are really cool. This is variant for number 3, and this is like a mugshot. It's like a wanted poster for Lando Calrissian. It's like what you would see in an old Western, right? And it's some bounty hunters looking around that image, trying to get a good look, probably try and wrangle him in. Written by Charles Soule, the cover, Mike Mayhew on that cover. Interior art, pretty good. Alex Maleev is the artist on this one. And this is regarded as the best mini-series, micro-series in Star Wars comics since the new canon began. Everyone just raves about this Lando run, and I absolutely agree. It's a lot of fun. It's worth your time to check out. I think this is a great cover. I also like this one. This is the suave Lando, but you also know that there might be an ulterior motive with this cover. This is number 5 cover by Mike Deodato, and yeah, that's pretty cool. He's just sitting there looking a little bit menacing in the shadow, and I love the shadow on his face. I like to play with light there. As someone who's not artistically inclined, I'm always impressed by that kind of stuff. You know, some of my favorite Batman covers aren't iconic covers; they're just playing with the shadows. So this cover is pretty cool. So that's number 5, 1 in 25 variant there. The Rogue One comics were always something that I thought was a cool concept if they were going to reveal more information. And I say that because when you got the Rogue One in novel form, you got some secrets that you didn't find out in the movie. Possible spoiler here, we find out that one of the characters has separatist ties. And you're just like, what? Why wasn't that included in the movie? So I was expecting the Rogue One comics to have some Easter eggs or reveal some more information that we didn't get to see in the movie. Not necessarily the case. So I put it down after issue number 1, and then I was reading a couple of summaries online, and it was basically just kind of going frame by frame along with the movie. However, we got some cool artwork. This is number 1. This is the start of it all. Terry Dodson on the cover. And I really enjoy just how strong Jyn looks on that cover. It's definitely an eye catcher. I really enjoy it. We have Rogue One, issue number 2. This is with John McCoy doing the cover here. And it's just the continuation on. They're basically on their way to Jeddah in this. You'll see the familiar logo here with the Imperial ties. It's a logo that's pretty synonymous with the Empire and how they showed off the Death Star without really showing it off. So Rogue One number 2, I'll let you look at it down here for a second. And like I said, it just follows along with the movie. But the artwork is impressive, and I'll give them that. But for these one, it was really the covers that really caught my eye. I love this number 3 here that we have. You're seeing Jyn, a young Jyn running away from stormtroopers, and you have an older Jyn down below. Pretty cool. This is a 1 in 10 variant, and this is the cover was done by Duncan Fegredo. So I think I'm saying that right, but still, really cool cover. The fact is here that the Cassian Andor is trying to track down Jyn Erso. The fact is that he's located Jin's father, Galen. It's revealed in this issue that he's at the Death Star scientist. But obviously Krennic is involved too, and so this is them, tracking them down. We're at this point in issue number 3. You're like 15 minutes in the movie, so I mean it's going slow. And then here's issue number 4, and or I shouldn't say this. You're probably about in this number 3. You're probably about 35 minutes into it. I was kind of being a little snippy with this one because number 4 takes you to this iconic scene. I love this cover. Phil Notto on the cover here, and you can look into Vader's helmet, and it's the scene where he's in the bacta tank. And how incredible of a moment was that in theaters when you saw Vader in the bacta tank? You saw the human element of him, and they kind of allude to this in that cover. One of my favorite comics of the new canon that I absolutely loved was Screaming Citadel number 1. And I was just raving about how great it was to see Star Wars, once again, the story group try and tackle Star Wars, sci-fi, and blend it with horror, okay? It didn't pan out well. I think it was by issue 3 where I kind of threw my chips in. But this is the variant for number 1, and it's really cool. Love the detail with the rain, the blue, the Citadel actually back off in the distance. The cover and the art is by Marco Cicchetto, and it's really stunning. It's one of those images where you'd want to blow it up and put it on your wall. And yeah, if you're having a hard time remembering this one, this is where Luke got possessed by a Force-sucking queen. She's like a Force-sucking vampire. I don't know. Just look at the image and accept that it's pretty, and we'll move on. I won't bore you with the story. Star Wars Annual number 2, Annual Variant. I told you there were so many books in this haul that I got. It's a really fun issue here with Leia running around, taking on some Imperial stormtroopers. Really fun. Elsa Chicharitir is the cover artist, and that is really how you say that name, Chicharitir, I believe. And not my favorite art. It kind of reminds me of the 2003 Micro series on Cartoon Network. That's why I picked it up. Anything that kind of triggers that nostalgia, I always enjoy because I like how they bring it, into the mix now. Now you're 13 years later after that series, and here you go, there's some influence of it, so that's pretty cool. So that was Annual number 2. The next couple of covers I have, I'm going to fly through because this is for Shattered Empire, and Shattered Empire was a series that came out, was one of the first series that came out in comic book form when Disney took it over, and it really just overwhelmed fans. There were a lot of really rewarding, satisfying moments. We actually got to see Luke Skywalker post Return of the Jedi, which Star Wars fans really haven't been able to. So this is a really nice cover. I got this for $4 or $5, but online you can find it for $20, even more. But this is number 2. It's the variant, and Marco is doing this cover as well. It's written by Greg Rucka, and it was a great comic. And of course, Greg is a titan in the comic book industry. This is a 1 for $25. And people just eat it up, and I don't blame them. I love this series. One, I think Greg Rucka knows what he's doing writing-wise. I actually learned about Greg when I got introduced to comics. I was reading the Gotham Central series. Love his writing there. Not really familiar with Cicchetto's work before now. I know he was like on Avengers World. I think he did a little Punisher stuff. So definitely has experience. Just a cool cover. Really enjoyed it. Love this run. It made the Forest Tree canon. I don't believe up until this point the Forest Tree was canon. So that was pretty interesting. I've got another number 2 variant. These are the picture variant. So this is like Leia in the Forest Moon of Endor. She's there in her garb, and you've seen the shot. It's in the movie. I actually picked up 2 of these, so that was kind of nice. Probably only need to get 1, but I know that there's some people who don't have these looking for these, and so I'm hoping that because I've benefited so much from everyone's kindness in the comic book community with acts of kindness and auctions, all that fun stuff, I think my first AOK is on its way. That's pretty exciting. This is number 3, Han Solo shooting. Obviously no artists on that because these are just screenshots from the movie Return of the Jedi. Number 4 variant is Luke. He's igniting the green, and he's there on Jabba's sailing barge. I'll let you look at that for a second. And, the cover makes me laugh because everyone has been talking on social media. They want Luke to ignite the green in the new Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi. And I want him to ignite the blue. There's a Japanese poster that recently revealed that I will be getting to see Luke ignite the blue. So excited for that. Although, love seeing him with that green in Return of the Jedi. Was really cool. I remember the first time you watch Return of the Jedi and you're like, wait. So that's not just a blue and a red lightsaber, you can have green. And then, of course, you lose your mind when you get purple in Attack of the Clones with Mace Windu. These are the last 5 from this insane variant haul. And they're all Darth Maul. So I'm just going to rifle them through. Darth Maul was a sweet run. Darth Maul, basically, he's under the guidance of the Emperor. And this is pre-Phantom Menace. And so he just has this rage and this thirst to track down a Jedi and kill the Jedi. He ends up tracking down this Padawan that's been captured. So I won't tell you what happens, but that's kind of like the overall premise. This is the 4C variant for this run, and it's just a close-up of him with the saber activated. Love this cover. It's by David Nakayama. And again, like I told you, it's Darth Maul looking for a Jedi, ends up having to use some familiar bounty hunters to track down this Jedi Padawan. It is such a great treat. For fans who watched Clone Wars, this was a great reward to see some of the bounty hunters that Darth Maul ended up turning to for help. So if you like a certain blue bounty hunter from the Clone Wars, you want to check this out. Number 5, Darth Maul, number 5. Another great look at Maul with his lightsaber out. The cover here is done by Care Andrews. And just so you know, if you didn't know, the run is written by Cullen Bunn. Like I said, does a really great job with it. But this is continuing on. Maul trying to track down that Jedi. And these books, they're priced. The shop that I went to had these books priced around $12, okay? These books are going for that and more. And again, I know I keep mentioning the price once in a while. I really just feel like I got some really great deals from my LCS. I walk in the door, he goes, David, I've got these books pulled out for you. I think you're going to really enjoy them. And then he takes me over to the back orders. He's like, we got a guy coming tomorrow wanting to look at Star Wars books. You need to take a look first. And I was able to find all of these. This is Darth Maul number 5. What's really cool about this is actually also the cover for number 3. It's just slightly tweaked. So the cover here, this is David Lopez cover. Looks stunning. It's him on that speeder, which is probably one of the most unique speeders that we get in Phantom Menace. I think until we got the prequels, the only speeder bike we knew of was the speeder bike. And now you go back, 20-something years, and here's this cool thing. I think Maul had a cool speeder. I couldn't stand Dooku's, but that's okay, because you know why? We're talking about Darth Maul right now, and he's got a sweet cover. Now, I don't know if this is the right thing to say, but I love this variant for number 5 as well. And they did so many variants for this mini-series run. This is definitely very cartoonish. The eye holes for the stormtroopers have X's on them like they're knocked out. This is a cover done by Diego Orletegui, and I love the art. It kind of reminds me of Funkos or like Pops. Maybe a little Asian fusion with this art. I liked it. It was a little childish. It's not usually my style, but I really enjoyed it, really appreciated it. And so, thought I picked it up. Why not? Get it for half off. Why not? The last of this main haul, and again, thank you for sticking with me during this video. If there's any books that you've liked, by the way, you've seen that you like, comment down below. Tell me which ones you liked, why you like them. If you don't like them, you can tell me that too. I mean, you won't hurt my feelings. Darth Maul, another number 5 variant, and this is just a really intense, up close, looking at the Sith apprentice that was killed off too early and then brought back to life. Shoehorned back in through the Clone Wars, but David Lopez cover, 1 in 25 retailer incentive variant, and Darth Maul gets his, well, he gets the duel that he wanted at least in this issue, and I just love that intense. That is Darth Maul. When I think of Darth Maul, I think of an image similar to this. I think of him behind those blast doors, opening up with the hood up, where he brings the hood down right before Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan ignite their sabers there, and that Naboo hangar. It's just like one of those up close. His head is tilted down, his eyes are up, he's got rage. A very cool cover here. So that's the main book, and I think there were like 25 books, 20-something books that we just went through. And I got 2 more. And the first, I know there's a lot of people looking for this one, and I really cannot believe that I found this, what a few of you would say, in the wild. But I found this in a back issue box, and it's in great condition. It's Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Gilroy was writing this. This is the first appearance of Ahsoka Tano in comic book form. And I just really can't believe that when I found it, like I did, just in the back issue box, and in such good condition. There's really no damage to this book. I want to make sure that you guys have a good angle at it. Really no damage to the book. The interior art, man, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of watercolor. It's got a little watercolor to it. At least that's the look. I want to tell you that it's kind of like the Micro series. I know I mentioned that a few books back. It's not. Maybe it's like the 4.0 version of that. It's been refined and refined and refined again. But the cover does not show you the cover art that's inside. I think it's very interesting. But for a lot of people, this would be, for Star Wars fans, especially for fans who've jumped on the bandwagon since Disney took over the helm of storytelling, this would be, I think, it would be a key. It's that first appearance of Ahsoka. Of course, Ahsoka really made her debut in that first Clone Wars cartoon episode. It was part of the movie that came out in theaters, but this is her first comic book appearance, and pretty cool. So I got someone who I think might like that too. So we'll see if I can make that happen. But that might have to stay in the collection for a little bit. I've been promised a second issue. We'll see if that happens. This is the book that I really wanted to tease. And I know that I was teasing the Ahsoka book, and I hope you feel satisfied seeing that. If you like that book, if you have that book in your own collection, be sure you let me know down in the comments below. This is a book that I'm really happy about, that I was able to find. It's a Star Wars #1. It's a variant, which that's the theme of this video after all, because I think all but 2 books were variant covers. But you know what? Hey, they look cool, right? I love the Star Wars 2015 run, especially through the first 15 or 16 issues. And when I started doing the podcast with the guys, I got introduced to Alex, who on YouTube you guys know as Alex the Comic Hoarder, and he has his artists that he really enjoys. And so because of watching Alex, his haul videos, I learned about J. Scott Campbell. And J. Scott Campbell ended up doing a variant for Star Wars #1, and I was able to find it, and not even that, I found it graded. And this is J. Scott Campbell, his variant cover, and it's graded at a 9.8. And I know that it's kind of hard to see. I want to show you in the close-up. There you go. There, I'll just hold it so that way you get a look at it. But I absolutely love how it's the original crew. I love the artwork. I love the bend in his lines. And it is really cool. And, here's the thing about J. Scott Campbell, and I've come to learn this because I watch so many different folks here in the comic book community, is, he's known for drawing very attractive women. He's known for drawing beautiful women, and you get to see some of his signature artistic decisions, I guess you could say, with Leia here. But I love the look of everybody on this book. I love Luke with the brown and the blue top. It kind of feels more Empire-y, but it's supposed to be a New Hope era image. But you got Leia showing some leg. You got Han looking very sinister. I love Han in this book. It honestly looks very similar, I think, to that Ed McGuinness cover that I showed you earlier ago, that 40th anniversary Star Wars variant that I showed you, number 36, I believe, or number 33. Looks very similar. The art is very similar. And I don't want to be that guy that's, showed up on the block 5 months ago and been like, I think Ed McGuinness and J. Scott Campbell, I think there's some influences going on there, like, maybe one influenced the other. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm just telling you, I think I see some similarities, and I think it's really cool. This is a book that I don't want to be overzealous here. I call this a Grail book. I mean, this is a pretty cool book for me because, one, it's a sweet cover with Vader's helmet too in the background. It kind of looks like this image could have been used for, cover art of the VHS, with Vader looming in the background, kind of reminiscent of the New Hope and Empire VHS covers. So I really like this, but also the sentimental value there. My buddy Alex introduced me to this artist. I've fallen in love with his art, and I'll have this book, and it's kind of going to be synonymous for that friendship. In this community, this comic book community that hasn't just been accepting of me. No. Accepting of the channel. Myself, David, Gilbert, Nick, Jesse, the four of us on this podcast. We're a Star Wars show. But the majority of people who comment and like and tweet at us and like us on Instagram are you guys. People watching us from the comic book community. So I want to say thank you to all you guys, and I've got a couple ideas for some upcoming videos that I need to do. There was this big effort over the last 6 weeks where people were doing like community appreciation videos, and we were down. I didn't have a computer to be able to do this, but I'm gonna do one of those videos. I'm gonna show a couple of books off. Won't be too long, but it's really just gonna be like a thank you note spoken aloud. And basically, it'll be anyone who watches will be getting that thank you because all of you have been tremendous. But that's going to do it for this haul video. That was 25, maybe even 30 Star Wars books that I picked up on a Halloween sale at my LCS. And they're good guys down there at the Fantasy Maplewood shop. I have no problem telling you to go check them out. Some people don't like to tell you where their shop is. I don't care because they're my friends. They do a great job with their shop, and they treat their customers right. Customer service is so essential, I think, to me when I'm going to a shop. I fell in love with Jack's Comic Shop in Cape Girardeau, Missouri when I was a freshman in college back in 2010. And why? Because he'd pull me over and he'd show me this book, and he told me, this is what you need to read. Well, Jack, I only have $20. That's a $30 book. It's all right. It's yours. Generosity, kindness, these are things that I think are really cool about that local shop, and that's what they do down in Maplewood. So that's the haul. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. And like I said at the beginning of this video, is the fact that we're back. We're going to do a new episode this coming weekend. Really excited to get back rolling. Episode 21, have a lot to talk about. You had the Japanese poster that I mentioned, where you have Luke igniting a blue lightsaber. You have the TV spot that dropped during the World Series. And, of course, that iconic image there, the third shot of that is Luke walking into the Millennium Falcon. So we've got a lot of goodies to talk about. I think there's a couple hot toys on the list. And, of course, Darth Vader number 7 recently dropped. So we'll check in with that series because it's kind of the series of the show. We endorse Darth Vader here. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. Tell your friends and family about our show and YouTube channel. And we'll see you soon.